Hey guys, it's Amy the Common Sense Cook, and today I'm here to share another recipe. Now, I've been a little under the weather with allergies and stuff like that the last few days, so I wanted to actually share something that's very flavorful because, you know, if you're having problems with your nose, a lot of times things don't taste right, and it's kind of funny how that happens. You know, they say you eat with your eyes. Well, the truth is you really eat with your nose too, because if you can't smell, half the flavor is gone. Now, I'm sure somebody can be a lot more scientific than me, but what I wanted to share today is some pesto. I got some of this amazing organic basil on clearance. I got not one, not two, but three. Basil, as you can tell, is one of my favorite herbs. The smell is just like nothing else. And I want to say, when you're making pesto, I'm totally okay if it's not the freshest, as long as it's organic. Because really, it kind of, I think it sharpens the flavor a little bit. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this basil. You can cut the stems off, or if there's some parts that are just a little icky, just cut them away. But I'm going to cut all these leaves off. Scissors are one of my favorite handy helpers in the kitchen, just because they make things so much easier. You could go through here, you could pick it with your fingers, you could use a knife, but scissors are safe, they're easy, and to me, it's just a little bit of common sense. So I'm going to pack all of this down into a food processor. Handy dandy. I'm going to cut, I'm going to pull. Alright, maybe sometimes it's easier with your fingers. We're winging it here, guys. It's Monday. We don't have time for all this. Alright, remove all your basil from the stems. Alright, I wish you guys could see the mess that I'm making. Now, this one I actually want to do nut-free. We don't really have nut sensitivities, but I know a lot of people do. And I think the best alternative to having pine nuts in your pesto is pumpkin seeds. These are raw pepitas. They've had the shell removed, and you can find these at Kroger's. They're really awesome and one of my favorite seeds to work with. And for something like this, I'm going to probably only add about half this. Maybe, let's say, 1/4 to 1/3 cup. And 1 piece of garlic. Now, garlic is one of my favorite things in the world other than basil. It's like basil and garlic are my top two. And the thing about garlic you have to be careful with is if you use too much, it is so spicy. It's got a tang to it. And I know my kids especially don't like it. So one thing you can do is you can either just break it in half and just throw in half, but hey, I like garlic, so I'm going to throw both of them in there. Now, you could make this dairy-free. Leave out the Parmigiano Reggiano, and it will be vegan, Paleo. And if you have pumpkin seeds added back into your diet, it can be nearly AIP. I do a lot of those recipes because I'm in the middle of AIP and Paleo. I have some things back in, I have some things that I just can't add back in because of sensitivities. And that's all you do, guys. I'm going to show you how I'm going to process it, and then we'll move along. Now, when you turn your food processor on, what you're going to look for is you want it to be very fine, almost like it's very finely minced. Bear with me. If you have headphones on, turn the volume down now. See, it only takes a minute. It's not hard at all. Let's open this up. Alright, you can see there's a couple pieces. We can just pull those out, throw them away, no big deal. But you can see the consistency and the texture of it. It's very grainy. And you can see those raw pepitas or pumpkin seeds down in the bottom. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our olive oil. You use whatever olive oil you like. I have tried so many different brands. I have tried organic. I've tried just, it doesn't matter if it's organic. Right now I have been using this kind that I get from Kroger's. It's actually green, and I have just found that some of the green olive oils seem to be better. I don't do light olive oil. And I am having trouble getting this lid off. There we go. Now, we're going to add in a splash at a time. Now, this is a wing it. You are just going to have to wing this. Put your processor back on. Zhuzh it a couple more times. I'll do that without the camera so y'all don't have to listen to it. And then I'll show you the consistency. But basically all you want to do is see a creamy consistency. As you're processing, you might take a spoon, scrape down the sides. I've already put a little bit of olive oil in this and processed it. We just want to scrape down those sides so it can all get nice and blended. Okay, now this is the creamy consistency that we are looking for in a pesto. Now if you wanted a little, excuse my alarm, if you wanted a little soupier, you could keep adding oil. Just add it until you like it. I like mine just a little bit thicker. Make sure you taste it. I'm actually going to add some of my favorite pink Himalayan salt. Crack some of that in there. Now, another thing that you could add to balance it would definitely be some lemon juice. That would be great. I just happen to be out of lemons because I like to use real lemons, not the bottled kind. And that's it. So that's how I make my pesto. And I'm going to give it a quick try here for you. It's creamy. And it's very good. I think exactly what it needed was the pink Himalayan salt. This is one of my favorites. It has plenty of trace minerals in it, and I actually find that I crave this if I don't have it and run out. Now, if you use the Parmigiano Reggiano, make sure you taste it before you salt it, because Parmesan tends to be salty. Now, if you want to store it, you definitely can. Just put it in a glass jar, and it lasts a good long time in the fridge. I would say not to store it longer than a week, but if you do batch cooking, you could definitely prepare this ahead of time. Now, what can you use it for? I have put on chicken. I'm going to do a rouladen tonight where I'm going to roll up some beef and cook it that way. You could also, I like sweet potato starch noodles because they don't use many of the grains. Now, if you don't really care about that and you're just gluten-free, or some vegans will eat grains, the ronzoni ones are actually the closest I've seen come to the original texture of regular whole wheat pasta. So that's a little tidbit for you. This is so fast and easy. It's great for a Manic Monday. A lot of times on my blog I write Manic Monday recipes simply because I'm a busy mom. I get the cases of the Mondays, and I know there's other people out there that need it too. And on top of it, if you're feeling a little down under the weather, I know the seasons are changing right now and some people are just feeling a little congested. I know my allergies have been acting up. So I just want to recommend to you, just make sure to keep your hands clean. I am terrible about it, but I try to keep my counter clean. I'll just use some wipes, wipe it down real quick, and make sure you get plenty of water. And I want to wish y'all a happy day wherever you are, happy night wherever you're at, and I hope you enjoy the recipe. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I'll be happy to answer them. And I want to remind you that there's no wrong way to cook except for to not cook at all. We'll see you next time, guys.